Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sorta My Podcast. My name is Vincent Herman, Vin the Human, and sitting to my left,
Mr. Bob Collins, also known as Boba Fett.
and right across from him.
This is James Odle, Alpha Spectre.
Remember, guys, if you want to like us on Facebook, you can follow us at Sorta My Brand or Sorta My Comics. We're also Sorta My Podcast on Instagram and Twitter, or wherever you're listening to this, iTunes or SoundCloud. You can follow us there. Remember, it always helps to leave a comment. Let us know what we're doing wrong. Let us know what we're doing right. Let us know if you disagree with us, if you agree with us. Whatever you want to say, we will do our best to respond to and grow from. So, moving on from simple intros. We're in the thick of it now. Let's move on to our anniversary, which was just a couple days ago. We debuted on May the 4th, which I may have my personal issues with, but that was our chosen first upload date. And if you guys want to listen to that, I did recently make SoundCloud playlists for each different show that we do. So go over to the Sorta My Podcast SoundCloud, go down to number 1. Actually, it should be at the top of the list. And listen to our first episode. You can see where we've grown from there. But I wanted to talk to you guys. What are your thoughts on a year doing this already? I know we had a big gap there, but...
Yeah, I was going to say, we went on hiatus for a little while, but I really enjoy doing these podcasts, even though sometimes they're thrown together last minute. Sometimes we're not on the same page.
And we're trying to fix
sleep.
Yeah, some
We've grown up. We went from like stumbling through trying to talk about a comic book or two and taking 2 hours to do that to getting a lot of news, a lot of information out there.
I think, like our first structure was really just like we wanted to do a panel by panel review of at least one comic piece, which became 3 comics a piece, and then have like 1 or 2 big topics.
So, sometimes a full like hardcover or trade or something we were discussing that took a long time.
That was like almost an hour.
Oh my god! I
Wonder
can't
Woman
believe I tried to do
One.
Wonder Woman. Not like looking back. Yeah.
But another thing about this podcast that I wasn't sure if I really wanted to talk about or not was like it helped me through some really shitty spots in this last year.
Yeah.
And like it definitely gave me something to look forward to, something fun where we just bullshit.
I can definitely agree.
Talked
with
about nothing serious.
Well, okay, we've all gotten up there, and that makes us sound way older than we actually are. But we're getting older, like wives and kids and jobs and everything. So it leaves very little time to hang out. And we've also kind of evolved past the going out and partying stages. Bob, I think you're more. You're more down for something like that than either one of us. I am,
but then there's times I'll turn around and it's like by 10 o'clock I'm in bed.
Right. Sometimes I do get envious, and then I'm like, but what would you rather be doing? Would you rather sit in and watch like a Bruce Willis movie, or would you rather go out and listen to shitty music that you don't understand?
Yeah, 9 times out of 10 whenever I do go out, and it's just to go out to the bars and shit locally. Yeah. As soon as I go out, I'm like, man, I just want to be home.
But this has become kind of a guy's night for us.
It has.
Like this, Commoner's Commentary, a new show that's going to be coming next week from the upload date of this. Next week, we're doing a show called Serious Shit, where we just shoot the shit.
About nothing serious.
Yeah, we just hang out, we talk, and the first episode is us trying to decide the name. So
and it came to us through just one offhand sentence.
Yeah.
And it stuck.
I would like to say it is the first podcast we've ever done that we actually hit our recording mark.
Yeah, probably is.
Yeah. Our max.
It was our max. It was our max recording.
Our max recording mark for it is 45 minutes. We hit that.
But this podcast is going to be something where there's really no structure. We just kind of sit around and shoot the shit.
Yeah.
Go off on tangents and then go off on more tangents off those tangents.
Well, We'll go on tangents here and we'll reel ourselves back in.
We started getting
we have a
deep.
basic structure on this one. We talk about all things nerdy. We have a basic structure on Commoners Commentary.
We started getting real.
We talk about a specific movie.
We started getting real deep about high school. Off of the conversation of what to name the podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, that first episode kind of went on a lot of different little topics.
There's so much
Pickle
more.
juice. Pickle juice was the topic.
But you're right. This has evolved in just a year. And although we weren't able to do what we wanted to do, we recorded an alpha and a beta before recording the first episode, just to test it out, to get our bearings and everything. And I think the alpha and the beta both have what was supposed to be an original cast member, which is Marnie Riddle.
Yeah.
I know for sure the alpha did.
Alpha absolutely does. The beta, I'm not sure. But, so we wanted to put the alpha out as a treat on May the 4th, but we can't find it.
There's one copy of it, and it's on a USB jump drive.
We have it. For sure.
That Odle has somewhere. His possessions somewhere, but he just recently
Through the course of moving, it has been put in a box, in a drawer, in something, and I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
I know exactly what it looks like.
So people that are smart and prepared would have probably made copies, but we depended on one sole jump drive.
I thought it was on my computer because I was going to edit it. I didn't even know there was an edited version out there. I didn't know Odle had one, and and I thought I had it, but I didn't. But rest assured that gives us drive to go at least one more year, so that on May the 4th, 2018, we can release the alpha episode recording. So you got that to look forward to.
Stay with us for a year, and you'll get to hear how horribly we started out in my kitchen.
It was pretty bad.
It was in your kitchen, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Speaking of sticking in there, if you've stuck in there this far, let's talk about comics. What have we been reading? And Odle, I want to start out with you because I know you're reading just under about as much as I am. Bobb's been a little stinted lately.
I've been very stinted.
I've been a bit behind. Obviously, I've managed to keep up on one of our bigger comic discussions here in a minute. I'm finishing up Moon Knight right now. Jeff Lemire's current run. He's leaving the book at issue 15.
Odle brings up Moon Knight. What a surprise!
This is really
that was one of those writer notes in a comic where it's like there's actually one in the story we're talking about later. It's like so and so
just
something happened to so and so in issue whatever. Yeah. Like that was Vin's right there. Odle talks about Moon Knight in issue blank.
Sort of my comics editor's note. Odle brought up Moon Knight for only the 1,000th fucking time.
Odle continues his streak on bringing up Moon Knight every episode.
Almost.
It's not even his favorite character.
No,
it's not. No,
it might be in his top 5, maybe top 10, maybe top 5.
I haven't even read the newest issue of Iron Fist, but I read the new issue of Moon Knight.
Now, you could argue that just comes down to writing.
Yeah.
Sometimes
and that's the thing.
It's
Jeff Lemire. If you're familiar with any of his work, he is a phenomenal writer.
Yeah.
He wrote one of the better Green Arrow stories out there, too. But he's leaving the book at issue 15. I feel like they're going to put out a nice hardcover of 1 through 15. And it's a very psychological book. It's not as much of Moon Knight fighting.
Which we've seen from you did, like, all jokes aside, you did do a few episodes.
Yeah, I've done a couple when we were doing, like, the panel readings.
Yeah.
I know I did some of those, but now, like, he's getting ready to actually fight Khonshu head on. And this last issue that Lemire's going to be on, I feel is going to be, like, the end-all, be-all for this entire run. Whether they continue it or they end it, either way, you guys need to check it out.
Cool.
Nightwing... I was sitting here earlier reading it. This last arc had to deal with Nightwing and Damian teaming up because Damian thought that Nightwing wanted to steal the mantle of Batman from him.
Well, yeah, and I mean, they have that. That's the great dynamic between Damian and Dick. Dick was the son.
Yeah, you have the biological son, and then you have the son that he never had that he raised.
And
this
Dick
last
has
issue,
a good 20 years on Damien being
he was
Batman's
able to raise
son.
him more of a son than what he was able to.
The great thing, they bring that actual aspect up in this last issue.
They brought it up
Dick
multiple
talking
times
about
in
it.
their history.
I really should have been reading Nightwing.
Yeah, but like they go up against some of the doll makers, Dollatrons, Mr. Pig.
Really?
How's that Iron?
Yeah, and then there's a.
Oh, it's delicious.
And then they go up against Dr. Hate, I think.
Never heard of that.
I can't
Bob,
remember.
You're the resident Batman guy.
I'm trying to think, because they have been bringing back some like obscure, like Golden and Silver Age.
Yeah, they drug out Psycho Pirates.
Psycho Pirates. Psycho Pirates has been obviously.
Condiment King has been on everything.
Condiment King.
They've been beating that shit.
There's been a few. That's one thing about Tom King, man. I've noticed he has been dragging out some of the names that are
not just Tom King though. Like anyone who ever wants to make an obscure reference to Batman is doing.
Snyder does it as well, but I noticed that. I think it was maybe issue 15 or 14 of Batman.
Tinian, I think, did it.
There's been a lot of references to some characters that we haven't heard from for a long time.
But yeah, so like they've been bringing some of that in, and Damien gets kidnapped while he's with Nightwing. He goes to Egypt to find him. A psycho trip from this villain. And then, like, at the end of it all, like...
Kind of sounds like Death in the Family.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But, Dick thinks Damien's dead. He's not dead. He actually used a muscle contraction to move his liver out of the way so that, the knife wouldn't kill him.
Right.
When asked, wait, you can do that? He's like, I'm the heir to the mantle of Batman. Of course I can do that. And a very Damien moment. And then, like, at the end of it all, they have a very... Like,
he out Batman.
No.
Do you
if we were Batman in the same situation...
I don't know if Batman would have been able to move his fucking liver.
You know what? No. Actually, I recant that statement. Because they love to fucking hurt Batman. Like, the more Batman can survive, the more Batman is.
Yeah, but... I'm sorry. Even as a comic reader, that can be like, oh, this talking raccoon is, that's completely plausible. Oh, this alien from another planet can fly? Yeah, it's completely plausible.
Dr. Hurt.
This 13-year-old boy can move his liver.
Maybe an inch.
Didn't think about it on those terms earlier when we were talking about it, Odle. Now, rebuttal. No, we don't have time for that.
No.
Shut up, move on.
It was Dr. Hurt. But, like, they had this really... like heartfelt moment at the end where he's like, apologizing for the way he came to Bloodhaven on Nightwing and everything else. And he's like, Dick's like, and you missed me. And he's like, if you ever tell anyone that, I will unleash 1,000 hells upon you. And then they go off to stop a robbery. And like, it's such a great team up. Like Damien and Dick is such a great team up all throughout.
So
I love the dynamic of those two characters.
Yeah. Like I was saying earlier, with the heir to Batman, they had a lot to play off of.
Yeah.
And then the mutual admiration, because there's no way Dick does not admire Dick. Like, any Robin who came before has to admire Damien, because Damien, even at his rawest, came in at a level far above any Robin.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there has to be a mutual admiration there.
Oh yeah, and
he's legitimately the son of Batman. So,
yeah.
Like anyone can respect that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Which is why Teen Titans, which is actually a book I'm going to talk about, is kind of a little odd, because these guys had to have heard stories. Why are they treating Damien like a joke? I mean, I get it, they're teenagers, but even if Batman were to walk into a room, a group of teenagers knows to shut the fuck up. So you've got like maybe you've got maybe half the potential of Batman in the room. Maybe you fucking pipe down a bit.
Like there was times in that Robin Son of Batman story I was reading right before they had before they did Rebirth. There's a few times that kind of shit happened in that too. It was like they kind of played him as like he's just some punk kid. Yeah, he might act a little egotistical and shit, but like he has good reason to,
And
because he is a badass.
At the time that this kid came around, like that was so easily, that could have so easily fallen apart. The son of Batman sounded so schlocky at the time.
Thank God it was brought back by Grant Morrison.
Right. Anyways, moving on. Bob, I'm gonna let you go next. Before I hark in on mine, what have you been reading?
I've been reading a lot of things, but the only thing I'm current on, besides what we're about to talk about as a group, and I'm not even 100% current on that.
You're pretty
current, but there's a whole storyline prior that I'm still catching up on.
You can probably guess
it. For the most part, yeah. I'm already kind of guessing it.
Come on, move on, Bob. God damn. Why are you letting me interrupt you so much?
I've been reading everything from the first volume of Invincible to I'm catching up on Sex Criminals, Moonshine. But,
of course.
Yeah. The independent titles, man. Besides Batman, the independent titles are where it's at.
Here's the hilarious shift. Odle used to be way on top of the game of like anything going on, and he used to be the independent guy, where Bob was pretty strictly DC and I was struggling to keep up in the middle ground. Now I am the guy who is way ahead of the game on the two big factions.
Yeah, you're big on the big two right now. Like it seems like Marvel and DC are like the main things you're reading.
But I'm also up on Ninja Turtles, The Walking Dead, like the big names in independent. I'm on
Paper Girls.
I'm reading.
Which I'm 3 issues behind on, but I have all the issues.
God damn it, Bob! You're the one who got me into it. Anyways,
I'm sorry.
I have become the blanket of the important. Odle is. You're on the big events, but outside of that, you're really only your main guys. You know, Scott Young's I Hate Fairyland, Nightwing, and Moon Knight, and Iron Fist. Yeah. And then Bob, you've fallen way. You're on me level.
I've fallen way back on even Batman.
You're on me level in the start.
All-Star Batman. I was so excited for. I may have gotten 2 or 3. I've got 3 or 4 issues. If you cancel that
book, I will let you read my books. Like I've got them all.
I want to cancel it because it's like I have my pulls building up.
Yeah, I don't have.
And those are
the
what,
last
$5 or $6 an issue.
They're $5 a piece. They're about to go down to $4.
But I have.
I don't have.
They've already changed artists 2 or 3 times since I last read.
Well, it went from JR.
Dude, they did that
within somebody between.
They did that within like 3 to 4 issues though. They
but
went
Snyder,
from JR.
I love Snyder's writing and everything from Batman to American Vampire to Witches. So I was pumped for this title. I'm behind on that. I'm behind on Detective, and Detective's been really good since Rebirth started.
So good. Really. League of Shadows has been the best story, and I love Cassandra.
I have the issues.
Your daughter is named after Cassandra.
Yes,
Kane.
Dude, yes. And pretty much.
Because he just nodded and didn't say anything.
Yes, she is.
Odle's latest addition to the clan Odle is named after Cassandra Kane. Great name. I respect it. Mm-hmm. I hate that I couldn't remember it the other day when I was at your house because that's how I remember it is Cassandra Kane.
And the thing is, Cassandra Kane's been playing a big part in all the DC's in all the detective storylines since Rebirth.
And my favorite Batgirl of all time.
Mine as well.
Yeah.
And she goes by what now? Orphan?
Orphan. Yeah. I think she's shedding that title.
Is she?
If you've been reading
the latest...
I'm
not current, obviously.
If you've been reading the latest detective as the guy who knows, let me tell you guys.
Really? And I was really excited for the... for them releasing them more often until it finally happened, and now I'm way behind.
Bob, you can always come over to my house and read comics.
Yeah, I'll just drive right over.
I'll make you an extra key. I'm not full. Like, I fucking trust you.
I'll just drive right over.
I don't work.
That's my problem.
Anytime Becca's in town, she can drop you off at my house.
Okay, well, the only book that I'm really going to talk about tonight is the newest issue of Deadly Class.
Okay.
And
Okay. Wait. Do I need to leave? Because I just borrowed I just borrowed Volume 5 from Odle.
Not really.
I won't give any spoilers.
Just give us
This
synopsis.
because the
this
very
is a lot
basic
of science backstory.
Yeah, and just knowing that it's a backstory, you find that out right off the bat. Like right first page, you'll see that it's a backstory going on.
Just don't.
You
don't
find
do
out
spoilers,
what motivates her into joining the school. What kind of gives her that ruthless demeanor that she has when she goes and takes out some of her targets, because the events that unfold in this issue, if that had happened to you personally, you wouldn't give a fuck by that point, would you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like by the time it's all said and done, by the time the events of this issue is unfolded, she's at the point where you completely understand where it's like she is ruthless. She can't trust anybody. She is essentially doing this all on her own because she's been given a really good reason to do so. When there's certain people that she trusts and people that should have her back,
Family that should have her back,
that saying that they threw her under the bus is putting it lightly. But it gives you a really good look into
why she is the way she is.
Exactly, like she's
so standoffish.
Yeah,
because she's like she is. I mean, there couldn't be a more perfect term for her.
And like I said, the events of one evening, essentially. Well, 2 evenings total. I mean,
yeah. Like least. It's a very short amount of time that this unfolds.
You can see exactly why she would be that way, and why it would be justifiable for her to be that way even longer than what she has been. Still, there's a little bit of action in it, like every episode.
Of course,
it's good. It's always well placed.
I always love the internal dialogue in these issues.
I can that was one of my biggest on the defense of this book. I had
fuck that pen.
You don't know, fuck Odle, because I threw it at him. Now give it back to me. Anyway, I can speak on defense of this book. Like it's a very unassuming book on the shelf. So if you see Deadly Class on the shelf, you've definitely passed over. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
No
question. Trades.
And honestly, that's where a lot of the Image titles have been. Like if you just see it on trade, like Wicked and Divine is one of those ones. I've seen the covers and they're kind of cool. Some abstract covers, but like, and it's not really that eye catching. But
it's
like
if you start reading to be that way.
Exactly. Paper Girls is a perfect example.
I have a better, but okay.
But Paper Girls, like they have especially the first, at least first 2 story arcs. Now there's more colors in them, but the first ones was each cover was one solid color.
Your example sucks.
I'm just saying, one solid color with a very basic image on it. There's no action covers. You know what I mean? Like there's no covers that pull you in, really pull you into it. It's very just like
it's minimal.
Oh, that's cool. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's how Deadly Class started out on their single issues. Yeah. Now they're getting a lot more vibrant.
I have a better example. Only you don't know. It's to outclass you guys.
Vinny's trying to class up these podcasts here, and we're not letting
Here's the thing. Odle got the okay, go ahead look, and Bob got the oh really motherfucker.
I just as much as you've been building up, it better be good now.
Okay, think The Walking Dead. From first issue, I don't know exactly what issue they stopped, but it was definitely after issue 100. From 1 to 100, they had this big, it said The Walking Dead, just big dead on their thing, and that's what drew people's eyes. At this point, they have brought it down to just The Walking Dead all in one line at the very top of the book with the issue number really small next to it. They don't give a fuck.
No, because Walking Dead is now one of those things that's guaranteed.
That's the thing, though. It's always on the independent rack. So The Walking Dead drew the eyes with that title. Now they're like, let's make them find it. Yeah, so I mean that's the attitude of Image, is that they don't fucking care. They are not.
It's kind of as bad as it sounds. It's kind of that hipster feel where it's
they're very hipster.
It's kind of an unknown. You like once you present it, like if you watch Shameless,
For example, once you put the fucking banner up on the bar, the hipsters won't come around anymore. They go to the fucking bar that's not announced all over.
Yes. Oh no. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Always Sunny in
Philadelphia.
There's a lot of parallels between Always Sunny and Shameless. You like Shameless.
It always comes back to It's Always Sunny.
Always.
But yeah, no, that's my example of this is that The Walking Dead had this huge flashy banner and it brought you in with the word dead. And now they've shortened it. They've shortened the fucking issue number. They don't care. Not because they think they're Marvel or DC. Far from it. Because they're But
they know that their target audience already knows that, like, it's not about their covers. It's about the fucking storytelling.
Yeah, exactly. The people who are following The Walking Dead are gonna find The Walking Dead.
Don't get me wrong. There are definitely image titles out there.
Shit!
With
I
covers.
just realized the deeper layer to it.
I'm gonna say there's definitely titles out there from Image with covers that very vibrant and draw you.
Yeah.
Fuck Fairyland, perfect example.
Yeah.
Vibrant,
It's exactly Walking Dead. How much you want to bet after so many issues they're gonna drop it down to just the top of the fucking issue that says I hate Fairyland?
I don't know. Just the whole.
I mean, still cartoonish, but like, I mean,
they'll smaller.
Yeah, they won't make it as because it takes up
the
same exact amount of space that The Walking Dead did. It's as if they're like, okay, loyal people are gonna read The Walking Dead. Let's make them find it. And while they're looking for it, they're gonna see all these other fucking issues. And our big game is Scott Young, so let's make that really big.
To kind of counter that real quick, Scotty Young is just doing I Hate Fairyland. One of their big guys right now is Rick Remender.
Really? Remender is the big guy right now?
Well, not...
Yeah, I was going to say, Scotty has a contract with
Scotty does like variants for all kinds of.
Not to mention, and only because I'm a few deep, the guy who created The Walking Dead, Kirkman has like 3 books to them.
Kirkman is the head. No, okay. Rick Remender. Kirkman has.
I mean, if you want to go that route, fucking
Outcast, Walking Dead, and
Invincible. But like you know.
I mean, there's multiple.
Kirkman is way popular of a name out there because he's got 2 shows based off of 2 of the comics.
Yes and no.
So many he's done.
Yes and no. You ask anybody if they know what Kick-Ass is or Kingsman, like
they wouldn't tell you.
They won't be able to tell you who created them, but they know his work.
Even the people who watched Watchmen can tell you Alan Moore, but the people who watch Kick-Ass can't tell you Mark Millar.
I'm sorry, but if somebody that has watched Watchmen can tell you that's Alan Moore, then fucking they should damn well be able to tell you that Kick-Ass is fucking Mark Millar. Like there's
No, I disagree wholeheartedly because Watchmen, while a classic superhero story and relatable in that fact, Kick-Ass is more of a street story. It's like the Die Hard of superhero stories.
I actually didn't know that Kick-Ass was Mark Millar until about 6 months ago.
Really?
I
believe it, but no, I mean, like, okay, Kick-Ass is the John McClane. If you think of John McClane to action heroes, John McClane is the guy you can relate to. Yeah. You can't relate to Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator. You can't relate to Rambo in First Blood. But you can relate to John
Kurt
McClane
Russell in
Escape from New York.
In Little China.
Wasn't
he was a truck driver?
He was he was in both.
He was in both. Yeah, okay, I was gonna say, wasn't he? Yeah, okay. Fine, whatever. But
we'll talk about Kurt Russell more later, okay?
You can relate to Bruce Willis, John McClane in Die Hard. It's the same thing with Kick-Ass. You can relate to Kick-Ass in that movie. You can't. You can relate in attitude, but you can't relate to war. You can't relate to being a wartime hero in the presence of a god. You can't relate.
I can definitely relate to Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
I walk around my dick out of that ages all the time.
Alright, we have
anyways, so you see my point, right?
Not really, but so what have you been reading?
Alright.
See, I'm setting him up with the
Fine.
because he still wants to debate because I haven't seen his point, but he knows our runtime is getting there.
Yeah.
So I gave him the dilemma right now. Do you sit and debate, or do you talk about your comics?
Fine. If you can see my face right now, I'm so fucking irritated.
I'm so entertained.
I love this.
I hate you guys.
I know.
Okay.
Alright, what you got, Ben? What you got?
What you read?
What I'm reading is so much more than you guys.
Does it have a fancy cover, or does it make you look for it?
The first thing I want to bring up that I'm reading is the Scarlet Spider-Man, because it is a newer Spider addition to the Spider family. God damn it, Bob with the... You know,
Sorry,
you'd
I'll
figure
fix it.
he would be the one drinking heavily, and he's the one drinking several Ecto-Coolers, which are only orange juice that's green, and I'm the one drinking booze, and Odle is the one
my
pacing
defense.
himself because he's, smart.
In my defense, I've been drinking a lot before I got here.
I was drinking a couple before.
Do you know how much I
got
spent?
here.
Do you understand how much we just spent at the liquor store before I got here?
Okay, wait. I actually want to guess this.
Okay.
175.
What do you think? Do you want to know if it's more or less?
Odle.
More, give me more or less.
Less. I'll tell you what. Under 175,
More than 100.
more than 100.
I'm gonna say like 136.
Still too high.
Really?
Just over. 100.
Really?
It was like
I was
100,
like, my lowest was going to be 150.
106.
Really? Okay, all right. You know what the bad thing here is?
It's like,
Is
oh,
that
it was only $106 worth of alcohol, Bob.
for you and your wife. Okay. Yeah.
This bottle is the only thing I
So-
bought for myself.
So you guys are doing better.
No, dude. Seriously, I went to 3 different people. Said, you having a party tonight? I said, nope. Just hanging out with the wife. And they gotta give me that look like, oh, it's a joke? No.
No, it really. Okay, so I'm reading this.
You just spit all over your comics. Good
I'm
thing
glad
they're back in
I'm glad I have bags and boards.
No
Okay.
thanks to me.
So, anyways, Scarlet Spider. I'm reading number 1 out of morbid curiosity. Anyone who read The Clone Conspiracy knows that Ben Reilly is back for various reasons I'm not going to state if you haven't read them. And I'm being nice because the cutoff date is a month, people. If you're comic fans, fucking read Clone Conspiracy. I'm being way too nice. Anyways, Ben Reilly is back. And it feels like they've made him Deadpool with spider powers. Because we have Ben Reilly in the new costume that we've probably seen going through, social media and shit. But he's plagued by 2 mental versions of himself. One is the, ratty, half hoodie, full red outfit version of the Scarlet Spider-Man, and the other is the Jackal of recent Clone Conspiracy fame.
I like the hoodie vest thing.
I like the costume better, but as a
Just
person,
the hoodie.
it's kind of, as a personality thing, it goes the angel and the devil. They're the angel and the devil on his shoulder. And as far as his banter goes, he seems very Deadpool-ish. Deadpool after he lost the 2 voices. I'm going to give this a few more reads. This first issue is not terrible. He is trying to recreate Peter Parker's life with other people. He finds a woman at a slot machine named something or the other.
Patricia Parker.
But he calls her
Patty Parker.
Aunt whatever her name is. He's adopted her as his aunt. And this and that. And he just keeps doing that with other things. So he's trying to self-impose portions of Peter's life into his while acknowledging that they're not actually Aunt May and so on and so forth. So it's a teeny bit original because it's based out of Spider-Man's mentality if he went crazy. But it's all too stenched after Deadpool. Right, random biker guy? The second story I want to talk about is the fact that it got really quiet after I started talking about stories.
Because you're a good storyteller.
I'm actually good at this part.
I'm not.
Oh, shit. The other book that I'm reading is Teen Titans. And the reason I bring this one up on the podcast, because ultimately kind of insignificant, just giving Damien a place to call his own. The reason I bring this up is because recently they introduced Aqualad. And the thing with Aqualad that they've changed is that he is gay. And they do not shy away from that
Does
in
he
this
like
book.
fish sticks?
He likes fish sticks a lot. Actually, he likes man dicks more than anything. But, oh shit. Anyways, besides the point, they don't beat it into the ground. They don't bring it up constantly. I think twice it's ultimately mentioned, and the first time it's really just kind of looking at his background where his boyfriend bails on him and shit, which actually plays into what's supposed to be Aqualad's main drive, is that he hasn't really felt comfortable anywhere, even with the only other gay kid in Texas. So he seeks out the Titans.
Especially of all states, Texas.
Yeah, right?
Jeez.
And I love that because not only am I reading this book, but I am passing this book on to my son with zero hesitation. And it gives me a little bit of pride because I know he's read the issue 6, which is the first Rise of Aqualad, which they touch on the subject, and he hasn't asked any questions. We've had certain conversations before about, they're, no better than you. In fact, you can be shittier than a gay person.
Yeah.
It all just depends on what you do.
Character.
As a person. Yeah, that's what I told him. Is it all depends on what you do as a person. It doesn't matter if you like boys or girls. What matters who you
it's
are.
How you treat other people.
Yeah.
And how you. Yeah.
And I was so proud because I handed him that issue expecting to get questions, expecting to field questions. And I got nothing but excitement for the next story because he was like, what is King Shark doing? Like, is he really going to eat all these people?
He doesn't care about, Aqualad likes boys. He cares about, the villain is doing
what
this.
What is King Shark up to?
How are they going to save the fucking day?
Exactly.
Which is exactly what he should be worried about.
And I could, say, oh, great for me for parenting, but, cool, because...
Also
Teen
great
Titans,
for just society in general, for just, to at least this point for your son, where he's just it's not a weird, obscure thing for him.
Teen Titans
brought in our heads.
Teen Titans brought in a gay black hero out of nowhere, and my son didn't blink, I love that. So I can sit there and say, oh man, this is going to be a conversation between me and my kid. But they've done so good of a job at telling a story that my son cares more about the story than the stupid intricacies that most people get hung up on.
So Teen Titans definitely any age book.
Definitely an any age book, definitely a great read. Maybe there are one or two references in there that might fly over the younger reader's head, but, and they mostly come from Beast Boy being the second oldest and at the start of the book kind of a playboy of the group, but yeah, definitely a read for any age. I'm enjoying it, my son's enjoying it, I feel like anyone can. The last book I want to bring up is Secret Empire, and this is kind of a story that made me read Captain America. I decided to read Captain America out of Civil War II because I wanted to know all the key players. I wanted to be following them, and much to my surprise, from issue 1 of Captain America, it turns out he's Hydra. So...
Awesome.
So I kept reading the book out of Civil War II because it was some of the most compelling reading coming from Marvel. Maybe you could argue that but Spider-Man was also equally compelling, but I mean, come on, this is Captain America, the bad guy.
This is your Boy Scout being the bad guy.
Exactly, this is Captain America, the bad guy. This is what drew people into Injustice. was Superman killing the Joker and becoming a dictator, you know? So I kept reading because I wanted to know where it was going, and it's led to this Secret Empire, which from issue 0, from before issue 0 is pulling no punches, but issue 0 is the first time Captain America reveals himself as who he believes himself to truly be. And the reason I bring up the believes himself is because, honestly, these books had me questioning it. The books present both arguments. Did Kobik change Captain America's mind? Kobik being a sentient cosmic cube, which if you don't know a cosmic cube, I don't have time here. Fucking Wikipedia it.
Time.
You know? But Kobik either changed Captain America's mind or changed history back to the way it was. And the Captain America book itself is the thing that makes you question it because it presents the past, I say in air quotes, as fact, while everything else you know is what you thought was the truth. So this story has done a great job at making you think, has Captain America always been Hydra, but manipulated by the America's manipulation of a cosmic cube? Or is Captain America being manipulated by the cosmic cube under the rule of the Red Skull, who, spoiler alert, is now dead at the hands of Captain America?
But how?
You'll have to read issue 15 of Captain America Steve Rogers to find out that, young Billy.
But I don't want to have to read 1 through 14.
Fuck you! That's how...
So was it issue 0 of Secret Empire that came out for Free Comic Tuesday?
No, you should definitely be reading Secret Empire number 0 before you read the Free Comic Book Day issue, before you read issue 1.
What issue is the Free Comic Book Day issue? Issue 1?
No, it
Or
falls
just
in
a-
between.
yeah.
See, Secret Empire
It's like
picks up, obviously...
0.5?
You're trying to derail this now.
It's... So it'd go from 0 to the Free Comic Book Day one, which is 0.5,
See,
and then to issue 1.
Here's the genius of Spencer and Bendis.
Yes.
You should shut the fuck up and let me tell it. That's what they've meant from issue
From
1.
issue 1?
From issue 1, they're like,
This is
Vinny's
premeditated from the time.
got this on a podcast. Shut up, Bob.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Anyways, from issue...
So which issue is... You know I was going to do that.
Issue 0, yes, but it was funny all this. Issue 0 is where Captain America is at the tail end of, like, letting everyone think that he's on their side and we're going to fend off these Chitauri. I'm going to give away issue 0. It's been less than a month, so spoiler alert, issue 0.
I think that
No,
physically
no.
going to give it away. I'll take it. Here.
He, in this issue, not only orchestrates the failure of the planetary defense shield so that everyone goes into overdrive mode, but the reoccurrence of the planetary defense shield outside of the abilities of Riri Williams and the AI of Tony Stark that's been aiding her. But while he's doing this, he has waited for Quasar, Alpha Flight, and the Guardians of the Galaxy to go up and defend against this Chitauri invasion. In the event that Quasar would be destroyed, which he was hoping for and planning for, he would reignite the shield.
Well, that's had to be the Chitauri, though.
And Avengers, the movie, whatever.
That's-
Who cares?
Yeah.
The point is, a giant Chitauri ship eats Quasar, the most powerful thing on the planet.
Like the same thing? Is it the
She
same?
can destroy anything within sight.
But is it the same type of ship that was like chasing around?
Yeah, the
Iron Man.
big dragon
Yeah.
ship, the thing that the Hulk punched out. So Quasar gets eaten by this. Everyone else is defending, and the shield automatically goes back up after Quasar is eaten. And once they've determined that the Chitauri onslaught is just going to run into the shield because they're programmed to, once the Chitauri are dead, they're trying to get back in. And Captain America tells them, nah, You're not getting back in. Goodbye. So, the Guardians of the Galaxy, Alpha Flight, Captain Marvel, and a now dead Quasar are trapped outside of the Earth. Meanwhile, the Defenders, led by Doctor Strange, are trapped within a endless portal of endless portals of nothing, are trapped in New York by the Darkhold. And Captain America has now, at the lead of Hydra, taken over the world.
He's being a dick.
That is the start. That is the start.
That's issue 0
of a 0 to 9 issue arc. And there are 2 issues in between that have come out. So read this shit.
So technically there's what? 12? 13 issues or something?
Yes. And, 9 I think is where they're going.
It's issues 0 through 9, right?
0 through 9.
So that's 10 issues.
Issue 0 is all I've talked about so far.
That's 10 issues plus there's the free comic book day issue thrown in there as well.
Yeah,
right?
11 issues
So
total.
11 issues. As of right now.
If you want to know who carries a Mjolnir, read issue Free Comic Book Day, Secret Empire.
Issue 0.5.
Which, as of recording this, we should state it's Free Comic Book Day today.
Yeah.
Guys?
Well, see, they're going to be listening to this not on Free
Of
Comic
course,
Book Day.
it's that's why I say
said,
it's
well,
of
yeah.
recording. So I hope you went out there and you got what you could. And I hope you at
absolutely
least
did.
gave Secret Empire a try. Because that's how I gave Civil War a try. Was the Free Comic Book Day issue last year.
I pretty much told him
And
I
it
wanted
sold me.
The Secret Empire, I Hate Image, Wonder Woman.
That's a terrible example. Is Free Comic Book Day last year sold me on Civil War 2, and Civil War 2 ended up being disappointing. But I'm 3 issues into Secret Empire, and I've been following Captain America because of Secret Empire, and I'm not disappointed yet. So,
Good
hey,
signs.
keep going. Anyways, that leads us into the DC realm of the big talk.
Is this the sex talk?
No.
Is this the birds and bees?
Far more important.
Is this
than
the
sex
birds, the
talk.
beads, and the buttons?
This is the buttons.
Flicker button.
I've got no good segue out of that. Bob, you kind of fucked up the segue that I had.
Hey, let's cut this part out too.
Nope. Hey, we're going forward. The button.
The button.
Anyways,
The button.
Been a wild ride so far.
yeah.
It's been a very interesting trip through the Speed Force.
Well, we should say this. If you've read DC Universe Rebirth, honestly, you could have skipped everything up to this point. Or you
If
could have
you're
been
reading,
a fool.
if you want to read the button, 2 things that you need to read prior to that is the Flashpoint storyline,
Yes.
and then the DC Rebirth.
Yes. Now, if you're a fool like me, you read The Rise and Fall of Captain Atom, you read all of Flash, all of Superman, all of Batman, all of so many different
If you got
things.
sucked in.
You got sucked in because you wanted to know everything. And I'm going to continue reading Flash, Superman, Batman, Titans, all of it, just to keep up. Because these are great stories.
Yeah.
But honestly, if you want the Rebirth story, here's your timeline. Flashpoint, Rebirth Special, The Button. And that's as far as we've gotten. So, The Button is 3 issues in.
We only have one more to go.
We have yet to have our conclusion. We've all read it. What do you think?
I'm loving it right now.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of emotional things that happen in these 3 issues. There's a few times where it kind of made me tear up. There was times that you had a really badass action sequence that went by second by second.
Yes.
How the whole thing-
Batman 21.
Yes.
Oh,
how
wow.
that thing played out was so great.
And now, if you notice, the way they played that out was not necessarily exactly to the color scheme of the Watchmen, but it was minimalist in its colors.
It was.
And
They
it
went
was
with that
9
certain
panel
9 panel-
pages.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
There's definitely a lot of callbacks to the Watchmen for obvious reasons. And then just tying in things that
we're left kind of still unanswered, but starting to answer things that were left unanswered in the Rebirth. story.
It's a
And things
2-year arc, and we're
things
only
that
a year.
were things that we thought were concluded in Flashpoint. Things that we thought was
Yes.
the end for certain storylines or certain characters. We're going spoiler right now, right? Correct.
Yes,
Okay.
from this point forward is spoiler.
The
If you have not read it and you absolutely do not want to know,
This is the point where you need to fast
you
forward.
absolutely do not want to know. Skip forward. If you think you might not be able to catch up in time, okay, go ahead and listen.
Fuck it.
You'll feel bad, but go ahead and listen.
Pretty much, if you've seen the covers recently, you know
Yeah.
what character is back. Yes.
If
Yes.
you've read DC Universe Rebirth, you know what.
If you've
character
seen the
is.
covers, you know what character is back.
Oh, okay,
Thomas
that
Wayne.
that character. Okay.
Thomas
Yeah.
Wayne back.
I thought we were talking about Dr. Manhattan.
We're not talking about God yet. No. The Thomas Wayne Batman is back, and it's the same Thomas Wayne Batman from Flashpoint. All the events of Flashpoint has occurred
For him.
for Barry Allen. Even so far, what we've gotten that what Bruce Wayne has gotten, which is the letter, makes an appearance again in the story.
Yeah.
What we thought happened was whenever
Burma.
whenever Barry came back, that world ceased to exist.
It ended. It
It
wasn't
ended.
an alternate universe, as most people have claimed it to
No,
be.
it
was
wasn't
an
an
alternate.
universe. It was
It was just timeline.
a
It
whole
was
alternate timeline.
Yeah.
It was a I don't know how
a different series of events.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it was all caused by one event, and when you go back and fix that one event, everything that was the butterfly effect from that one
Exactly.
event is no
One
longer.
universe, multiple timelines. Yeah.
There is apparently a powerful enough being that was able to hold on to that timeline, as well as how they describe it.
Take Barry.
Forgotten or lost times or forgotten times, which was the old golden and silver age stuff that you're seeing in the time.
Exactly. Which harkens back to the convergence.
Fucking harkens back
And
to
here's the funny
Flashpoint.
thing: the further in that Rebirth goes, the more relevant and well-standing Convergence becomes. Which is funny because Convergence was heralded as terrible,
Yeah.
and it's
I
gotten
honestly thought
better
when
the
Convergence-
further Rebirth
When
has
Convergence
gone.
was first announced, I thought it was pretty much going to do what essentially Rebirth. Like, I thought that was the whole plan was,
Yeah.
oh, we're bringing back everything. You know what I mean? We're kind of tying everything in all
Yeah.
together. But it kind of didn't go that way
Yeah.
until Rebirth started. Then you're like, okay, no. And now, like you're saying, we're seeing ties to that.
The
It's like-
further Rebirth goes,
Yeah.
the better Convergence becomes.
But yeah, all in all, man, I'm really liking this, and I want to see how, because you mentioned it earlier off mic. This kind of feels like that could have been it.
Yeah.
Part 3 of the button felt like you could have concluded it right there, and like it would have been okay until they picked it back up down the line.
Well, okay, that wasn't necessarily what I was saying.
Oh.
What I was saying was that it's left off to give us so much more. That
Yeah.
I feel like there should be more parts to this rather than 4.
Just one more part.
We're
Oh.
3 issues in, and the
Yeah, but-
Flashpoint has been destroyed. It's gone. Like, I feel like this is definitive enough to say that Flashpoint is
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, we
And
literally watched it get destroyed.
And now
Yeah.
they're running through time, and they just watched Eobard Thawne, who died, who is legitimate dead,
Yeah.
dying saying, I saw God, before exploding in blue and melting.
And they made the point that, like, he may have, for Bruce, may have only been gone for moments, but for Eobard Thawne, he could have been gone
Yeah,
for
yeah,
God
exactly.
knows how long.
And by
Manhattan knows how
by
long.
the time they see Thawne, he's talking like he's already seen so much shit since having this
Yeah.
button. And that's where we leave off. And so I wasn't necessarily saying that. I was saying...
Okay, I get what you're saying
Yeah.
now. But hell, even going back to what I was saying, like, if they were to, after this next issue, tie up a few smaller loose ends, they could leave this story pretty much on pause, pretty much like they did with the DC Rebirth story. It was like, they left you with a nice cliffhanger.
Yeah.
We'll revisit it a few months down the line.
And here's the
And
thing.
I feel like that's kind of what
it's-
they're going to be doing with this anyway.
It's
'Cause I don't
all...
see how they can, like you were just saying, I don't see even though how they can wrap everything up nice and tight in one more issue.
It's all seen through the divinity of our almighty Jeff Johns, All hail.
All hail.
All hail.
And I trust it
Me
because
too.
of that. Just like I trust anything Star Wars because of Disney.
Just like I trust anything MCU because they have not proven us too terribly wrong.
Exactly. So, yeah. The button has been a hell of a ride so far. And it's not over. We have one more issue.
That cosmic treadmill's still going.
Yeah, we have one more
They can
issue.
start together in 1 minute.
What did Eobard Thawne seen? Where is this button's power coming from? This is all in the next issue titled The Hand of God.
Okay, so
As
we've
according
all
to the
come
last
to the
issue of
conclusion,
Batman.
and it's all kind of made apparent that this is the Watchmen we're talking about.
Yes,
Obviously.
it's
Dr. Manhattan we're talking about.
Dr.
obviously.
Manhattan. I think it's
Here's my
obvious
biggest
at
question
this
though. It's
point.
like what's Manhattan's reason for playing God? Now, here's my thing. Is this at the end of the Watchmen story?
yeah.
At the end of the Watchmen story,
Yes,
when
yes.
he goes away,
I know exactly where you're going.
is this what happens?
When he says, maybe I think I'll create some
Exactly.
of my own. Yes.
Is this what that is?
No.
Is the whole DC universe, is that what
Honestly-
he created? Or is that
honestly-
something he discovered? Is that...
I think it's something he created, but I think honestly, if you're telling a good story, I think he tried a few times. I think he's
Yeah.
created a few universes and then destroyed them
And do you think that since...
in pursuit of this one, but this one has turned to be out of hand. You know, Superman's too powerful, and Batman's too powerful, and this person, so he tried to
He
fix
tweaks
it.
them.
He
And-
tried to fix it, and,
And
they
have you
broke
noticed? And have
free.
you noticed that for the most part, the Watchmen's main characters, they kind of show not only like physical traits, but like personality traits of a lot of our beloved big characters that we have in DC. Could-
yeah.
Could
I
this
mean,
be he used them
course.
as a basic image
oh
to
yeah,
build
definitely,
Superman, to build Batman, to
definitely,
Fuck this
definitely,
guy
absolutely. And he finally thought he nailed it, and then it fucked up, and he tried to tweak it because he wanted to nail it. You know, and then he tweaked it again, New 52, and then they still fought back, and now this is the culmination of them fighting back constantly against his vision of what it should be perfect. That is what
If
I
that's
think
not the
this is.
case, I want that to be the case.
That is what I think it is. Oh,
I mean, come on, man.
whoa,
Jeff
whoa,
fucking
whoa!
Johns.
Wait a minute
Tell me
now.
that Jeff Johns
Are
didn't
you
think about this
saying?
shit too.
Are you saying that I could possibly be more powerful than Jeff
Than
Johns?
the Almighty?
Than the Almighty
Than the Almighty
Johns?
Johns?
Uh-oh.
Blasphemy.
We're rebelling against the narrative here.
Burn him at the lantern.
We're about to experience our own rebirth. God damn it. John's hand comes in.
You saw the hand of God.
You know too much. Shit.
Oh, man.
This chair is so loud.
That's fine.
Alright. Anyways, Odle, do you want to add
chime in at all
anything to
on this,
anything we've said?
What do you think about Flashpoint, at least?
It was good.
Great movie.
What'd you think?
Great movie.
Yeah. What did you think about the button so far?
I've really liked it, especially 22. The interaction between what is two different Batmans, but
Oh
also
my
being
God.
father and son.
Yes, that was one point I was going to bring up was
At
the whole
tail
Bruce
end
saying,
of-
like, I only wanted to tell you one thing since I've read your letter. You're a grandfather. Like, that made me like, oh, God damn it, man. Like,
Right?
you know, there's a million things
And
you could bring up.
Isn't
but
it
it's just
so
like,
perfect that you didn't get much out of that? He just
No.
kept standing offish. He
Yep.
just kept standing, staring off into the distance, like maybe he's thinking, and you wanted him to say something about that, and then he turns and he
Or
says,
even,
he talks about the Batman
Yeah.
instead of being a grandfather up until that last second.
and
Be
he's
a
like, go
father
fucking-
that I couldn't be.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
fucking find peace and find happiness in your life.
And you wonder what
What's-
is that what the Dark Days, the Forge, and is that what Dark Days Metal is about?
It might be.
I want it to be.
Like I
It's-
want him telling him to give it up, to just like you don't need to do this for me. You don't need to do this for your mother.
For Batman to
You
find
don't
a
need
new
to
way.
do this. You need to find, like, I want you to find peace and I want you to find happiness.
Which he's already been kind of on the path of.
How perfect would it finally to be like, if they do, I know it will never be permanent, but if they do finally be like, you know what, like, let's give Bruce a break for a while. Let's not do it like, oh, he's dead. Like, let's give him a fucking break. Let's finally pass on the mantle.
And it feels like they've been on that path.
For the point where it's just like, Bruce is like, well, that, like, my whole goal, my whole reason doing this, because I was doing this to avenge for my parents.
And
but when my father's own words is telling me, like, you don't need to do this for me. You don't need to do this for your mother. What, like, that's all he needs to know. Like,
yes,
you're fine. Like, we're, like, you have fought the fight. Your time is done.
Well,
you don't need to do
it feels like for a while now he's been trying to find that way.
He's been trying to find his own. He's been trying to find a reason.
The Belfry and the team there, Batwoman, Clayface, Orphan, spoiler.
And that's just a detective. Like, that's not counting fucking. That's not counting the whole Endgame situation.
Exactly.
He died and he came back, and he was going to stay away from that when he had that amnesia shit.
Yes, and now he has Yellow Batman. Why can't I think of his name? Shit.
Duke.
Duke. Yes. I
don't know if they ever came with a name for him yet.
He doesn't have one.
Yeah, he's still just Duke.
But
I remember that he mentioned.
I feel like that's how they're gonna close All-Star Batman with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he's been trying to make sure that it'll be okay without him for a while, and I'm hoping that this and then Dark Days and the 20 other titles that come out of that. The thing that
Dark Knight.
No, it starts with Dark Days the Forge.
Oh, wow.
Dark Days something.
Only thing I've heard so far is
and then Dark Knight's Metal. Yeah. Those are the only three.
Dark Days, Dark Dusk, Dark fucking Sunset.
It's supposed to be something. I really hope that Bruce can pass it on from there.
It would be a very fitting reason for him to do so. Like I said, we've seen him die, quote unquote, multiple times. You've seen him get his back broken. You've seen multiple things, but like for him to finally be just at peace and be ready to go would be the best outing.
Speaking of ways to pass it on, let's pass it on to phone booth news.
Yay!
I'm going to try and go through this as fast as I possibly can. We're not going to bullshit during this anymore. Except for that.
Which, everyone, sorry. Got some coughing issues going on, as you may have heard. I apologize.
Wow, boring. Superman couldn't change during that. First up, Josh Brolin is cast as Cable. The second off on our list here is Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite has its first trailer out. It looks like a Marvel vs. Capcom game. Honestly, it stopped.
Brolin is Cable, though. Yeah, he's Thanos now, but like still, it's okay. Whatever.
No, we're not going backwards. Obviously, its appeal in the video game industry ended at 2, but check it out if you want. Marvel Captain Phasma has been announced as a upcoming comic, which is cool because we don't know much about Phasma, and the most she's been expanded on is in Poe Dameron. Moving on in Star Wars Battlefront 2 trailer came out. Really great trailer. And you'll be excited to know that it is going to come with a story mode, and it does span all 3 trilogies. Speaking of someone who has their hand in all 3 trilogies, Carrie Fisher's tribute premiered at the Star Wars Celebration, which you may have seen the clip video, but it goes so much farther beyond that. Go to YouTube, to the Star Wars page, check out the Star Wars Celebration panels and videos. Mark Hamill himself even did his own full-on show about Carrie Fisher, and the videos and stories he shares are just uplifting. After that, we have the Unbreakable/Split sequel Glass, as it's being titled, is confirmed. Now this isn't DC, Marvel, independent, anything really, but it is a superhero story by M. Night Shyamalan with 2 critically acclaimed prequels to it. And any chance to see Bruce Willis as a superhero, let's take it. So that has been announced. Jeff Goldblum has been announced for the Jurassic World sequel.
That couldn't make me any happier, honestly.
Yeah.
I want so badly for this to be the bridge between all 3 Jurassic Park movies to the new series. But we really won't find out until the movie because Jeff Goldblum was the main character in Jurassic World, in the Lost World Jurassic Park.
And I thought, that in as far as Jurassic World goes, it literally goes from Jurassic Park to Jurassic World. Everything in between doesn't.
But they don't necessarily shit on everything in between.
No, they don't. They don't acknowledge it, but I thought that it was stated that everything happening in between Park and World wasn't in continuity.
We take the movies as continuity, and the movie itself does not necessarily dismiss those. It doesn't close the timeline to where, like, this couldn't have possibly happened. So, they could have changed their mind from there. Either way, good to see Jeff Goldblum with dinosaurs.
Me too.
Finally, we have Batman and Bill, a documentary coming to Hulu as of this Saturday.
Which I honestly didn't know about until I seen your notes. I was listening to an episode of Fat Man on Batman like a few years ago. It's the episode's at least 2 or 3 years old, where they had Bill Finger's daughter on there. She was talking about trying to get together to get a documentary made for him. But like that was the last I heard about it.
And pretty much around the time that the New 52 became a thing, Bill Finger's accomplishments and acolytes towards Batman started becoming
acknowledged.
Yeah.
What was it? BVS was the first actual motion picture or anything that actually acknowledged him.
Yeah, that had his name in it.
He's still co-created by it, but...
And so this is the logical next step to say that it wasn't just Bob Kane. It was Bob Kane and Bill Finger, and they're going to go through his entirety of the Batman line. So if you want to watch that, it's already up on Hulu. Recording this, it came up today. By the time you're listening to this, it's been up for 2 days. So check that out. It should be pretty cool. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm excited for it. Moving on from that to other, further, more important DC Universe news. DC has announced that they are starting their own network, which is really cool for anyone who's a fan of the Multiverse. To this point, Arrow, Flash.
Are you fucking with me? Seriously?
Yeah.
Did you not?
Wait a minute.
I've not heard this.
You didn't know this?
I didn't know this. Like what I've been claiming for years, they're actually doing.
The thing that we have talked about, there just needs to be a DC network. There's going to basically be a DC network.
We've been claiming it for both. There should be a Marvel too, but
yeah.
But yes, this is coming to DC, and their first 2.
Oh my god, that makes my dick hard.
DC streaming originals are Titans and Young Justice Season 3. Those are the first 2 things that are coming exclusively to that.
Season 3 of Young Justice is actually going to be streamed on the WB website for now, from what I've heard.
No, by the time it comes up, this DC network should be up.
This is going to be like a digital streaming service, kind of like
Netflix. That's probably what it is.
I thought you meant like
it's like the WWE.
Move over, CW.
It's like the WWE network. WWE network's focusing on everything WWE. You can pretty much guess from the fucking title.
It's a network with WWE stuff?
Okay, it's called WWE Network, and this is called DC Network.
But
does
the WWE Network also play the WWE movies?
Actually, yeah, I think it does. I don't know specifically, but maybe, yeah, I guess.
I don't say they should, if not. Do they also play the Scooby-Doo movies with John Cena and Undertaker?
Yeah, I'd probably guess, yeah. Any chance they have to jerk themselves off. Hi! Your head is so much smaller than your breast.
I was trying not to.
I'm going to say that's an angle thing, but I'm going to imagine it's not.
It's not an angle thing.
Yeah. And look at her trying to compensate with the angle.
I know she's like, I'm going to bring it more towards the top of my head. Even then, they're still at least the same size.
Oh, okay. So we have to cut all this out. Hopefully I find it. If not, we just had a conversation about Bob's wife's arrest.
That's fine.
Anyways, yeah. So Titans is going to be headed by Berlanti,
I'm pretty fucking excited.
but
I
there is
can't
no
wait.
confirmation whether it will be a Berlanti-verse or it'll be like Supergirl started. Now, there could always be like a Flash fucking thing bringing it all together. The point is, we don't know if this is Berlanti-verse or outside Berlanti-verse able to be drawn in.
See, I feel like they're going to make it Berlanti-verse because you have the perfect opportunity with Wally. With Wally,
I thought we were talking about like Disney Pixar's Wall-E. I'm like,
no.
oh my god, a Berlanti-verse live-action Wall-E show would be awesome.
But without Batman and Superman, little known to fans, we don't have Nightwing. And Nightwing
Right.
has been confirmed, so...
Right. But what I'm saying is with Wally making these trips to Earth 3 because of Jesse and like other stuff like that, why not make it an Earth 3 Titans?
Yeah, well, it could be. But at the
You know,
same time,
like-
Earth 3 hasn't shown that it has an arrow. We don't...
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, we don't
you know
know.
what? No, that's... I started saying that as like a counteractive thing, but it's a proactive thing. If
We
it starts
don't
in
know.
Earth 3, yeah, we
We
don't
don't know
much.
what these other Earths have. Yeah, just like Supergirl. She comes from whatever Earth that is. We know that there's a Supergirl and a Superman on that Earth.
But no other heroes, as
As-
far as we know.
Well, you got Martian Manhunter and
Red
all
Tornado.
that.
Well, no, I mean on
Yeah, Red Tornado on
on
Supergirl.
Supergirl.
Yeah. You have
Yeah.
Martian Manhunter on Supergirl. You have.
You don't have Martian Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. But he's not.
You have.
He's
Red
a
Tornado.
hero born out of Supergirl. He's not an established.
Right.
hero, Yeah.
But so who's to say that this isn't going to interact with the shows right off the bat?
Yeah.
I feel like we have the opportunity for that to happen, but whether they set it up like, okay, it's in our main Berlanti, it's Earth 1. We don't know. But you would think that on Earth 1, between Flash, Arrow, and Legends, we would have heard of Batman and Superman by now. Like, how these kind of heroes would have been kept secret this whole time is beyond me. But
Right.
you'd think that there would have been some mention of them by now.
Going from one streaming service to another, Defenders. First trailer came up on YouTube and all over the internet, and it's coming to Netflix real soon.
This fall, actually.
Yes. So we've watched Daredevil season 1 and 2. We've got Iron Fist and Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, arguably the best of all of them. But what do you guys think of this trailer? Do you feel this could be the culmination of everything Netflix Marvel?
One thing I am excited about for Defenders is that it's 8 episodes
Yeah.
opposed to 13.
Well,
because there's
we don't need
some
that.
of these like we were talking about with Iron Fist. Granted, Iron Fist ran into a lot of problems prior. So by the time the show was ready to go, like they rushed a lot of things. Like we were in that discussion before about as far as action sequences
I think
go.
we even talked about
They
it
learned-
on one of the podcasts.
Yeah, they learned. He learned a lot of that choreography day before. I mean, a week before. Like
That's why a lot of the
and
scenes
of
were
all
really
the characters next. I mean, of course, Daredevil is martial arts themed as well. But like, of all those 4 characters, Iron Fist should have been his choreography should have been spot on.
Yeah.
And you could tell it wasn't. Now, just by telling by this trailer, and I was going to mention this earlier off mic, but I was like, now I'll save it for the discussion. I can already tell the improvement as far as the trailer goes on his fighting style.
Yeah.
On Danny Rand's fighting style, just in the trailer, compared to his whole season of his show.
Some of the few moves you see.
It looked
him
crisper, cleaner, like it looked like he knew more of what he was doing rather
make. Yeah.
than...
Which, we even talked, that could even correlate to he's had more time to train.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
not Finn Jones, the actor, but Danny Rand, the character,
Exactly.
could have had more time to train. We don't know what happened at
We
the
don't
end
know.
of Iron Fist leading
Yeah,
into Defenders.
we know to an extent about how long he was Iron Fist. Like he had
Well,
the title
no, I'm
Iron
talking
Fist.
Well, now I feel like I can finally weigh in on some of this because Odle, you lent me the Immortal Iron Fist
Yeah.
trade, and this
You finally read it?
Well, I'm about 10 issues in.
But still.
It's a big chunk. We just started the tournament of the 7 cities of heaven. So honestly, I feel like he should have been further. Like, the more I've read this trade, the more Immortal Iron Fist, the Netflix series, falls apart for me. Because I feel like he should have been further along.
Yeah, because the thing is, in like the original, like Marvel Premiere 15, when Iron Fist first comes on the scene, he is in Kunlun. He has been there since he was 10. He is 20 years old. So he's had 10 years there training, learning to fight, all that. Before he becomes the Iron Fist. And he becomes the Iron Fist. So, like, he's had all this training.
I mean, granted, in the show they show that he had a lot of training prior as well.
Yeah,
but it still seems like by the end result, a time that he comes back to our world, to man's world, away from Kunlun, at least so far, at least the little bit that I've read in the comics, granted, you have much more knowledge than I do, the little bit that I've read in the comics is that he came out of Kunlun with a lot more experience than what he's showing in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and Davos even. Davos in the comics is way different. So let's forget about that and focus more on Davos in the show is pretty focused on, it seems like he's an up-and-comer with Daniel Rand when it should be he's been there a while and watched a couple guys pass him up.
Well, yeah.
Which would add so much more to his hatred towards the end of that show.
Yeah, so, you see that revealed in one of the episodes where he loses his composure when talking to, I think, Claire, saying that was his birthright and Danny stole it.
Yeah, you could tell that he was still little resentful and bitter about it. And how much passion he still had for it.
That actor is really good at that kind of role. Yeah. I watched 12 Monkeys on the Sci-Fi Network.
Show, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he was on there, and he was kind of, not exactly the same character, but kind of a similar character. And he plays that well. Very
anyway, getting back to the Defenders aspect of all this, where we started, it does. It looks like a lot of the fight sequences involving Iron Fist are going to be a lot cleaner. The actor is more knowledgeable about what he's doing this time around. And, like you said, we're down to 8 episodes instead of the traditional 13 that we've had with all these others.
Because I feel like there's a lot, not only just with Iron Fist, granted we talked about this before, Iron Fist feels like there was a lot of filler.
Yeah.
That would have benefited from an 8 episode series.
Exactly, yeah.
Luke Cage was a bit of the same way. Granted, Luke Cage was one of the stronger shows for me, but there was a lot of the same discussions between the bad guys on this is what we're doing. Like there's an easy at least episode or 2 length worth of time.
Think about any dramatic moment in your life, like however bad it got. Do you remember having the same conversation 20 times with different people?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I forgive a lot of these things, because while we're only seeing 2, 3, 4, max 5 times they're having this conversation, they've probably had it like 18 fucking times by the last point. Think of the most dramatic moments of your life, and you're fucking telling anybody who you trust and will listen.
But I'm not talking about dramatic moments in my life. I'm talking about a 1 season for the most part for each one of these characters.
Some pretty fucking dramatic shit happens in each one of these
13 episodes, and you're going to give me a total of 2 or 3 episodes length worth of time of just filler. Of shit that, it does contribute to the storyline, does contribute to the plot.
I'm not saying it's not slow. I'm saying it deserves more recognition for what it is than what people expect.
But
to me, it just sticks out more of a slow burn than anything. Like, more than
just with this being 8 episodes, we're not going to have, like, how we were thinking, okay, well, we're going to have an episode.
We're not going to have board meetings?
We're not going to have
a dozen or 2?
God damn it, he runs a corporation. Fucking
so does Bruce Wayne, but you don't see a million fucking conferences.
Maybe I'd like to.
Well, then watch the Nolan movies. There's quite a few of them.
we find out the interaction of how Matt Murdock and Jessica Jones come into each other's lives.
And I do like
He
that.
walks in, he's her attorney now. You know, first time the Iron Fist meets Luke Cage, he tries to punch him.
Yeah, and they're shitty towards each other.
Yeah, and that was fucking great because they are in the comics when they first meet.
Now, we visit something I've voiced in the other podcasts, and that is, now that it's down to 8 episodes, I feel like they're in a rush Luke Cage getting out of jail. They've got this solid basis for at least half a second season. Now, if after Defenders, if during Defenders they decide to glance over the Luke Cage
That's
stuff,
what I was thinking they might do. Is they might mention it a few times, but then once they go back for season 2 of Luke Cage, they explain to you what happened. How
exactly, that'd be fine. Because you've got half a season of material, at least half a season of material of Luke Cage being in jail.
And honestly, I'm okay with if Defenders did happen to do that with each one of those characters. Like, kind of give us a little bit of like, wait a minute, when did this happen?
Yeah, it's Defenders
and kind of give you a little
place,
bit, and they give you a little bit of
future
hints.
months.
But we'll set it up. We'll set up each one of those individual shows.
And that's
like,
what
I think it's
like
kind of, even though it hasn't been officially announced, I think it's kind of well known that we're going to see Punisher sometime during this season.
I hope so. It hasn't been announced.
Have you watched the video where they note like the original teaser, the "Come As You Are," where it's just like you'll see all the stuff ripping, or where it says "Defend."
I liked that better than the actual trailer.
The last shot where it says "Defend," and you notice each one of the letters are like 2 of the D's are taken from season 1, season 2 title of Daredevil.
Yeah.
There's the E is taken from
it's spread out.
But then there's one that the first E in Defend doesn't match up with any of their titles. But if you look at some of the title cards on some of the Punisher comics, the E matches the E on that perfectly.
I hope he comes up in Defenders.
And why wouldn't he?
I will not be offended if he doesn't.
If he doesn't, yeah, exactly.
And it'll make sense enough.
I see him popping in at some point.
I hope.
Same with Electro. I mean, Great Electro was shown in that trailer, but like I kind of suspect that before. It's like Electro's coming back at some point, and obviously.
Well, during that trailer, it looks like that's she might have in the comics.
Because it's been kind of like it's been pretty much well known that the Hand is kind of the big bad that they're all going to have to deal with. Why wouldn't she be one of the big bads with the Hand when they do have to deal with?
Yeah,
make complete sense.
Very well. Well, speaking of things in continuities that confuse us, let's go on to the big topic of this episode. Honestly, I think we just found the title for this episode: Things and Continuities That Confuse Us.
Confusing continuities.
Confusing continuities.
Okay,
that's more of a title. That sounds more like a title. The other one was a bit too long.
It's that okay.
Granted, their titles like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
The other sounded more like a chapter title, rather than an overall title. Fair enough. Confusing continuities. Hark on.
So is this the point where Boba Fett is gonna step out?
I think this is my cue to step out. Correct? Is this
yes.
that I was supposed to watch?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is where you were supposed to go to the movies, Bob.
Well, here's the thing.
In my defense, wife.
I set up babysitter a few days in advance. I made full plans on dinner and a movie to watch the very romantic Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 with my beloved wife.
No, you actually don't know, because you didn't see it, exactly how romantic it was.
I figured there's going to be some romance in it between Drax and
his
Peter
knives. Quill. Anyways, go smoke. And those of us who are coughing, who don't smoke,
those of us who actually keep current with movies and don't want to develop more cancer.
Those of us who actually care about Marvel Studios, whatever.
Meh.
We don't care.
Meh.
We don't care what you want. Go watch Justice League and get your fucking jollies off.
I can't wait.
Well, we'll sit in our actually cohesive universe.
And I will enjoy every second of it.
Alright, so as Bob steps outside for a cigarette, we move on to Guardians of the Galaxy
Volume 2.
And wow, it was really cool.
It was great. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I want us to nitpick it before we praise it.
Okay.
So some of my nitpicks were Baby Groot was enjoyable but overplayed.
Now, see, I had sort of the same opinion. In the beginning, this very first moment with Baby Groot. Okay.
By the way, spoilers.
Yes, we had the same idea at the same time. Spoilers! If you didn't already know. Spoilers for Guardians of the Galaxy.
Are you about to talk about the opening scene?
The opening scene.
I enjoyed that.
I didn't.
No. I enjoyed it, but then I found myself watching Baby Groot, watching what's going on in the background, there was too much to try to watch.
That's what I'm saying. I can understand where it's enjoyable. I personally did not enjoy it because I was focusing too much on Groot. I wanted to see the fight with this thing. Ever since the trailer, I wanted to see the fight with this thing. And, by the way, we did say on a former podcast, maybe the trailer gives too much away. It doesn't.
No, not at all.
Absolutely not. Having seen the whole thing, it does not give too much away. In fact, little slivers you could take out, and you'd still be surprised at the overall thing.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I think a lot of what we saw in the trailer was fairly based in Act 1.
Well, okay, it was based in more of the capsule of Guardians versus Ravengers.
Yeah.
Yeah, any trailer I saw versus the movie I saw, everything I saw in those trailers was more geared towards their interactions with the Ravengers than anything else.
Right.
Of course, there was, Ego in the final trailer.
Yeah.
The monster and all that shit.
But it's
but ultimately, the stuff you see in the trailers, that's Ravengers.
But, going back, I feel like they knew that people were going to go apeshit over Baby Groot. So, of course, there were scenes he was adorable. You enjoyed what he was doing. It was funny at the right moments. He was heartfelt at the right moments. There was one scene where I lost my shit. I could not stop laughing.
Okay, what was that?
The scene where Rocket and Yondu are imprisoned and they're telling.
Oh yeah, he keeps going back and forth.
When he brought
no. No, we won't go into detail. We'll leave that for the people.
I lost it, man. I laughed so hard I started crying.
Good shit, yes.
But, other than that, some of it was just, okay, well, that was a little unnecessary.
Okay, now
same with Drax's humor.
Think about... Now, we'll get back to Drax's humor, because that was a point I had. Think about it as, and you and me both. I have a 3-year-old turning 4 in October. You have a couple toddlers now. So, think of it on a toddler spectrum. They are so fucking random.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can be so goddamn serious. Last weekend alone, Lex was all over being helpful. And it couldn't just be, oh, here's a rag, please wipe this thing. No, he wanted to be helped. He needed to know he was making a difference.
Yeah.
And it was so hard for me to find that place for him. But
there were times where I'm like, that's Abby right there.
And then there are times,
the hat thing.
Yeah, there are times when they're so fucking random that they're just running around causing chaos, doing whatever comes into their mind. Baby Groot, I could get on a complete level with, and I understood based on my experience, not just with my oldest son, who is now 11, but
with kids
my youngest son, who is 3. And so I got Baby Groot.
A praise I can say is the father-toddler relationship between Groot and Rocket.
Yeah,
that was
Groot,
always
Rocket,
enjoyable.
and even Peter.
Yeah,
Peter Quill and Drax. It seemed like he had 3 daddies there.
Yeah.
What's weird? No, it seemed like he had the weirdest relationship with Gamora. If anything, he had the battle relationship with Gamora.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool in its own right. But, if you felt any sort of cozy relationship, it was definitely from either Drax Rocket or
Yeah.
Peter, which is funny. But as far as you were saying with Yondu, was it Yondu you were talking
Drax.
about? Drax.
Was it like
Drax.
humor?
As far as you were saying with Drax, they played it up way too much.
Well, I think they played it off of the response that people gave from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1.
No, I give it to one line.
What
it
line?
would never go over my head. My reflexes are too fast.
I would catch it.
Yeah. Yes.
And
that is the one line I feel like sold the entire performance of Drax during this. And that's so sad.
It is.
Because Drax is what he was in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. We got the biggest laughs from him.
Yeah.
But only because he's so fucking serious. He's so revenge determined.
Yeah, like there is no like gray area with him. And like, you know, the scenes when the Mantis touches him a couple different times. The first time in the ship, she touches him, it is pure like hilarity.
You can argue, yes, that Drax has these layers, and give Mantis every single moment with Drax that she had. But before she has those reactions, he's already this warm, fun-loving, ignorant guy. We don't want him to be. We don't want him to be Bill Goldberg as Santa Claus. Yeah. We don't want Goldberg Santa Claus out of Drax.
But
we want Batista as Drax.
Yeah. But like one of the issues I had with it was like, and not just from Drax, but like there were points in the movie like humor seemed forced. Like scenes drug out longer than they should have, just for the sake of extending a joke.
Please elaborate on that.
Okay, the tape.
Towards the end. No. Okay, all right. Go ahead and make your piece.
The scene where Rocket asks Peter for tape. So then you hear Peter going around during this giant battle.
I thought that was hilarious.
I was laughing. And then he kept going to more and more people. And I'm like, okay, now this joke is starting to like wear a little old. And then he goes back, it's like, did you ask Nebula? Yeah. Did you? Well, she was beside him when I asked. She didn't say anything.
Okay, here's my point on it. Is that jokes... Okay, I'm going to sound a little douchebaggy here. But the classic training on a joke is that the max of a joke is a joke of 3. I feel like they went from, does anyone have any tape? It hit 2 points before they hit the next joke, which is Peter Quill asking about tape. He hit 3. And then it comes back to a new joke that nobody has tape. So, and then they hit 3 points on that joke, and then Groot runs off with the bomb. Now, if you're breaking it down scientifically, yes, of course you can agree. Maybe, though, it doesn't resonate with your... This is where it sounds douchey, your humor.
Yeah.
Like, if you were to watch every single episode of The Three Stooges, I feel like, based on this opinion, you wouldn't get every episode. You'd find some funny, of course.
I think I've watched almost every single episode of The Three Stooges.
No, you definitely have not. I haven't seen every episode, and I'm pretty sure I could quote every single episode you've seen.
Probably.
Personally, yeah. But
anyway.
But the point is there's this classic layer of humor that is latent within there. And there are 3 jokes where most people would see one joke that started at this one thing and led on and on and on. I hate that because that means most people have lost touch with what humor really is.
Right.
But that's where I think you're at, is that you saw it on that spectrum.
Well, it was also like pushing 1 a.m. when that part rolled around. So
Fair enough. For me, it was like 2:00 when that was happening.
Yeah. So that could play a part in it. We call it the late showing.
Yeah.
But all right. Let's kind of roll into the things that we enjoyed. We appreciate.
Okay. Fair enough.
Like
I love as much as I did in the first one the references to all Marvel that is intergalactic.
Yeah.
The Howard the Duck I could have done without.
See, now that I got a kick out of it. One, because it was Howard the Duck.
No, I went Howard the Duck.
Yeah,
That was it.
That was my reaction. But
there's
the fact that
so much more Marvel Universe, so much more.
Yeah,
But I mean cosmically that they could have hit on.
Well, there
in those
is,
moments.
but Howard the Duck was one of our after credit scenes from the first one.
I don't blame them for bringing him back. Of course, they brought him back twice though. And the first time was kind of like a little, he got some lines and a moment. I don't think he deserves the lines in a moment when there's so much more important shit that you could put in there.
But
I feel like maybe if he had just a tip of the cap every Guardians of the Galaxy movie, I'd be happy. Here I feel like I've been robbed of something.
Yeah. Well, you also gotta take into consideration everything that hasn't been set up that you're wanting.
I'm also taking into consideration that Howard the Duck doesn't have that vibrant of a fucking story. You know what? You know the best thing he's set up in 15 years? Gwenpool.
Yeah.
That's it. And it's a good book. I like it. She's hilarious. Her origin story plays into her abilities amazingly. But that's been the biggest
Hey, maybe that was Gwenpool that he's sitting with.
That's been the biggest contribution that he's made to the Marvel Universe in years.
Well,
and he's had many stories in those years.
Well, okay, let's move past Howard the Duck. We had some really colorful, really, really cool scenes in this movie.
Yes.
Of course,
the locations are many and vibrant.
Yes.
And not distractingly so.
Right. And then you, throughout the whole movie, you feel what started in the first one was that, rivalry between Rocket and Peter.
Yeah.
But also the camaraderie that was there.
And because of the scope, you get a better idea of warp. How they get to these planets.
Yeah.
So on and so forth.
And that, then
we're about to do 700.
Yeah. That was great. And just the bubbling faces and everything. I'm like,
that was great.
We need to make sure that he's.
And they didn't throw it away either. They brought it back. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it's all of the different travel that happened. And did you notice? Okay, Kurt Russell in the beginning of the movie when they're driving in the
third note I have down here. By the way, if you're listening, I wrote my notes in the dark without looking at them. And Odle, would you say that was an incredibly impressive display?
Yeah.
For someone who did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But did you notice?
I'm a pretty good movie critic. If you want to.
Did you notice that his car in the beginning had the same color scheme as the Milano? The blue and orange.
I noticed the blue. I didn't notice the orange.
Yeah, the Firebird on his hood was orange, and the stripes on it.
Shit, that's so awesome.
I really liked that.
See, the note I took was they did young Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
And he looked amazing.
Yeah, he looked great.
He looked better than young Princess Leia. He looked better than Grand Moff Tarkin. He looked better than young Tony Stark.
Well, now keep in mind that Princess Leia and
Shut up, Bob!
like the R2 from Star Wars, those were complete CG.
Yeah, no,
Those,
yeah,
those
yeah,
weren't
yeah.
taking like a person and modifying them.
No, but...
Michael Douglas.
Shut up, Bob! We know that Tron 2 was the first. It was awful, but a good attempt.
Michael Douglas was Ant-Man.
Shut up! Shut up, Bob! And now Odle's on his phone and this whole thing falls apart. Anyways,
But
the thing is here is that the first time they Disney really experimented with this was in Tron 2. And
they got better with it in Iron Man or in Civil War. What?
Yeah, exactly. No. Yeah, with Iron Man. Yeah. Huh?
Ant-Man as well.
Yeah.
God damn it, Bob, if you want to be a part of this, come in here.
Are we done with spoilers?
No.
No?
Fuck y'all.
Then shut the fuck up.
Oh shit.
Anyways, their young Kirk Douglas was amazing. And I want to say this.
Michael Douglas.
I hate you so much. And I know I'm not gonna... I know personally I'm not gonna cut this out.
Russell and Michael Douglas had a
God damn it, go to hell, Bob!
Alright.
Come back when we're talking about Preacher Season 2.
fucking die.
Alright.
Anyways.
Okay, so young Kurt Russell looked really good.
Yes, he did. Branching off of, how Rogue One went and Civil War went. This Disney facial recognition euthanizing
Aging software.
Anti-aging
software.
It's
whatever.
come to full fruition because honestly,
cannot
I
tell.
knew. Like, I was looking for it. I was looking for the moment where I felt like Kurt Russell was fake in those first moments.
It wasn't there.
And you couldn't.
It wasn't there.
It was so fucking perfect that you felt like it was Kurt Russell from the 1970s.
Yeah. But going on the interaction between Ego and Peter. Like
him explaining what this is, what you're,
and
why I've been searching for you.
The interaction between the two of them at the start is very heartwarming. Peter finally found his dad. Things are going good. Then you find out what Ego really wants, and things turn south. And Peter gets pissed.
Okay, here's the thing. I think I'm coming from a different space in this movie than you. Maybe Bob. I don't know. Because Bob didn't see the movie.
Blame my wife.
Stupid piece of shit.
Anyways,
like me, myself, I have an estranged relationship with my father. We have maybe 2 great moments in the span of 15 years. And then it culminates in me punching him in the face. And post that, I can only remember him trying to abuse my ability to overcome my social and mental neuroses to try and better my life, to try and better his life. And now, doesn't that sound exactly what we're talking about here in Guardians of the Galaxy? I got very choked up during this movie. Now, this is also on the heels of me listening to the audio tape for Shockaholic and finishing to this day, May the 6th. You'll be hearing this May the 8th, I want to say. The wishful drinking of Princess Leia Carrie Fisher. And her experiences with her father, which I made a post, gives me hope that maybe at some point he'll need my help. And I'll actually rise to the occasion where he failed so miserably.
Yeah. So you found a lot to relate to in that situation.
Exactly.
in
Yeah.
the
This was a huge moment for me. And then the reveal of Peter Quill's mother.
And
I
then-
don't want to say it.
Yeah.
Don't want to say it. The reveal of Peter Quill's moment where my relation ends.
Right.
And anyone
And the
who were
tables
in that
turn.
situation, anyone has to put themselves in that situation.
Oh yeah.
My dad did this.
Yeah. And just the reaction, like the movie from there forward was pure gold.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I said,
Well, it was pure gold before, but just
But then-
I think for multiple people, multiple different reasons.
one of my favorite lines that I think was said by Peter Quill was, "I'm gonna build some weird shit." When he was
He's like,
Kurt was-
I'm building an 8-foot tall Pac-Man.
and then like
And he does!
Right, and he does.
Yeah.
and he did it, and I'm like, that's awesome.
I'm gonna build some weird shit. And the way the movie goes about it is just an overlap line, but later he builds some weird shit. Yeah.
But then you have the relationship starting super sour between Gamora and Nebula from the start. Like Nebula's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you. To they finally come together at the end.
Okay, this movie, god damn it. I didn't want this to be the podcast where I was like, this is my life. But this podcast this movie really was. Being my father, I don't have a great relationship with. We share the same name. I decided to give my son the same name, my firstborn son, the same name. And honestly, I think the way I like to think of it as, he once put a box together, this crate of things, and he wrote notes of what each and everything was and why it meant something to him and why it should mean something to me. That's the best connection I have to anything before my generation. Post my generation, I have, this is why you should be better than us. Because that was always my motivation in the type of dad I wanted to be, the type of man I wanted to be. I wanted to be better than my dad.
Yeah.
He was an alcoholic who just couldn't fucking figure it out. A moron. And that's what I found. I wanted to be better than the moron.
Yeah.
And I see in my son that he is better than the moron. But I want him to be better than me. So he has to be smart. And that's what I took from this movie, is that I built from my dad felt like he had to be the moron to be better than his dad. I have to be better than the moron to be better than my dad, which is smart. My son has to be better than smart.
A warrior.
No, a warrior doesn't take smarts. A warrior takes survival.
Well, with Trump here, he's going to need survival skills.
This is where me and you differ, because you wanted to be a Marine. I was a Marine.
See, now...
They taught me to kill. You wanted to know how.
No, I was going to go into the Marines and be in the drum corps. There was a...
They were still going to teach you how to
yeah.
kill a motherfucker.
Yeah. But getting back to the movie...
Yeah.
There was
It's about fathers and sons.
Yeah,
it's about
there was a lot of
lineage.
family building and stuff.
Yeah.
You had the father-son thing with Rocket and Groot, the father-son thing with Peter and Ego. You had the
father and son
estranged
thing.
daughter with Nebula and Thanos.
You have another estranged father thing, which we won't mention because it's a big thing.
Oh yeah.
Where I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah,
I want that for the people who watch it.
Yeah, like there is a father-son relation in this movie that you don't really see coming.
A huge father A huge
Like-
family.
I got choked up.
The thing about this movie is family. If you
Yeah.
want to relate this movie to anything,
Family.
Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles of
Yeah.
1990. It was a huge family movie. And most people neglect that. But yeah, this is a family movie.
Definitely.
And multiple layers of definition.
And there's a lot of really cool space battle stuff. I enjoyed the fact that the gold people, I can't think of what they were called off the top of my head. They were basically all just playing video games, trying to take down the Milana and the other ships and stuff. And then I want to talk about a couple of the after credit scenes.
All right, we'll get to those. Two things I want to touch before the after credit scenes.
That's what means.
Drax, and we said we'd touch back on that.
Yeah.
They really wanted Drax to be the entertainment value of this.
Yeah.
And he is not that.
Mm-mm.
In the comics, I mean, they did what they wanted to with the movie. I'm going to say they accomplished what they wanted to in the movie. But it's gotten to a point where Drax is oversold.
Yeah. See,
The
that's
way-
what I was kind of getting at earlier.
The way I got my son into comics, he was a wrestling fan. I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but
Yeah.
CM Punk was writing the Drax comic
Right.
by title, and that's how I got my son into comic books.
And it's a completely different Drax in the comics, isn't it?
It's a furtheration. It's Drax if he were out on his own.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was a good story. But we don't see any of that in Guardians of the Galaxy. I hate being intoxicated in these moments, but anyways, we don't see that in Guardians of the Galaxy. We see Drax is a Joker, but he's serious. But he's a Joker, but he's serious. But he's a Joker, but he's serious.
And the thing is, like, what everyone is constantly reminded of is he's not joking.
He's too... the idea in this movie is that he's too bipolar.
I don't even think that it's that he's too bipolar. It's just that
I would say that he's too bipolar. As someone who is the normal level of bipolar, someone who, if you said that light bulb could be 5 watts better, could fuck up my entire world. As someone who's that bipolar, I can see where he's bipolar.
Yeah. But
he is. He is definitely all over the place, but too much so for the normal audience. I don't expect people to get me. The fact that you and Bob get me is a total fucking godsend. That's 2 people out of 7 billion. I'm in the running.
So there's a chance.
Right?
But I agree. The Drax thing was overplayed in this movie, but I don't feel like it brought the movie down.
No, it doesn't destroy the movie.
Yeah.
It's a good movie overall.
Yeah. But, I don't think I could ever really bring myself to give a movie any kind of 10 out of 10. But this would definitely be in the running for a 9 to a 9.5 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
Would
you suggest that people go out and see it tomorrow?
Yeah. Anyone who gets, as long as you've seen the first one, you have a basic understanding of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You don't even have to have seen all of them, because this is the Marvel Cosmic.
No, okay, I would say that.
So at least having seen Guardians Volume 1,
if you haven't seen anything but Guardians of the Galaxy,
you're good.
Definitely,
it was a great setup. You don't have to know who Ego is. You don't have to know who Mantis is. You don't have to know who Yondu Well, you should know who Yondu is from the first movie.
Let's talk about Mantis for just a second. I got a new fetish.
Oh, God. Is it antennas?
No, not necessarily antennas. Because
Is it the
alien
eyes?
chicks have always kind of been like a thing. But it's the whole package. She's innocent. She has the wide eyes. She has the antennas. She's an alien. God damn it. If that's my first experience, I want it to be my last experience.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. Vinny would bang the Mantis from Guardians Volume 2. So go out, find out what she looks
Even
like
if
for
it
yourself.
means ultimate life during and then total death afterwards.
But all in all, like,
Send her a Facebook message.
watch Guardians Volume 1. Go and watch this the soonest chance you have. It's a good enough movie that you could take the kids to.
I'm serious about the chick that you messaged. If she can hold a conversation about comics, like, we have an opening.
Yeah. Hey, maybe she'll put on some antennas for you.
If she can handle the fact that I work a lot, I want it. Yeah. Anyways, alright.
But yeah, I would definitely recommend it to anyone. Like,
Guardians of the Galaxy is a great.
right? And I kind of went in expecting that whole the sequel's never better than the first, but this held its own. Like, this totally held its own to the first one.
Well, guys, that is where we're going to end this episode. If you want, you can go over to Sorta My Comics. That's where you uploaded it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Sorta My Comics, check out Alpha's unboxing. He has done since April's June shit.
So far,
Let's go back. Hey! Wait a minute. This is your cue to go back and erase everything you said about Alpha's unboxing.
And penises.
Well, that sounds like a good enough area to end this podcast. If you want to check out a new show we've been doing on Facebook, it's called Alpha's Unboxing. And the first month he did April's investigative crate. I'm not going back. Fuck
the
it.
Loot Crate Investigate box.
Loot Crate investigative box. And the Marvel Collector's Core Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. We see how good I am at reading this shit off.
I don't know if I could spell loose crate.
Alright. You guys want to fucking draw for the next... we're drawing for the next...
Draw me like one of your French girls.
We're drawing for the next...
Goblins.
Odle, take... God damn it, Odle.
God damn it, Odle.
Take Mario Brothers and your stupid bullshit out of this podcast. We're going to draw for Commoner's Commentary. The next thing that we will...
I believe...
We're drawing guns. Yeah, let me draw.
Is it Bob's draw?
Yeah, Bob hasn't drawn yet.
Alright. And I'm done circling. Bob has scooted back, and he has chosen.
Seriously? Why are you guys putting the same movies we've already watched back in the fucking cup? Let's try this again.
We're watching Mario Brothers again.
Why did you put that back?
I didn't.
What do you got?
Drum roll, please. For episode 3 of Commoner's Commentary, we have Dragon Ball Evolution.
Yes! That is my pick. And shit.
Just out of curiosity, what was this one I just dropped? I just want to see. Dude, it could have been Howard the Duck.
Oh, Odle again. But this time he lost to Dragon Ball Evolution. The next episode of Commoner's Commentary is coming in what?
12 weeks.
6 weeks?
6 weeks.
It's the
I
mid-season
think.
finale.
Yeah. 6
So
weeks.
wait a minute.
Because
Now that we hit a year mark, is this our season 2?
this is our season 2.
And then
Anyways,
Volume 2.
Odle, you are responsible for this because the reason we're going 2 to 6 weeks is because Odle wants to do
a Suge Knight's Gaming.
a Suge Knight's Gaming of what?
Well, you see, Injustice 2 drops in a little over a week, which would fall right on our next recording weekend. It'll be fresh out, so I figure, why not play it online for everyone?
Very well. So in at the very least, 4 weeks, we will be doing Suge Knight's Live. We're going to be playing Injustice 2 and Commoner's Commentary. It's going to be interesting.
And I think there might be an episode of serious shit squeezed in there somewhere.
Oh, there's
Yeah.
going to be serious shit squeezed in there. There's going to be another episode of Sort of My Podcast. Before we get to Commoner's Commentary
You might even get
3.
another unboxing video.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
Before we get to Commoner's Commentary 3,
We'll have a Suge
which
Knight's
is
Gaming,
what movie?
Dragon Ball Evolution.
Dragon Ball Evolution.
I heard
Still
I heard that was superior to you in the show. Is that correct?
No,
have
No,
yet to
no,
this
no.
day to see that movie.
I saw it twice
You want to know something
in
sad?
theaters.
Want to know something that's going to break your heart? Aside from catching little bits and pieces of an episode here and there, this will be my first introduction to Dragon Ball. Thank you.
Go watch Dragon Ball Evolution well before the podcast. Please,
Nope.
please.
Okay. I will
Anyways.
watch it.
You haven't seen it either?
No, not once. I refused.
What the fuck? I saw it in theaters twice. Fuck.
Okay, first time, shame on them. Second time, shame on you.
I was trying to make a more powerful argument.
You were trying to make it better than what it is.
I really
But you
was.
can't. You-
No,
you-
I
you
won't
can't.
argue that. I really was.
You went back like, you know what, maybe I
Anyways.
just wasn't paying attention for some key parts.
Commoner's Commentary, episode 3 is going to be Dragon Ball Evolution. Before that, you'll hear a variety of episodes of
Everything.
Of everything.
Of everything we pretty much have to offer.
Of shooting the shit. Is that what we called it?
Serious shit.
Serious
but hey,
shit.
Whatever.
Yeah. Serious shit and Sort of My Comics. Thank you very much for listening. Head on over to the Facebook page if you want to see Alpha's unboxing videos this month. He did the Investigative Crate and the Marvel Collector's Core Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 crate. Obviously, you can tell my voice and
If you'd also like-
punctuation is failing me.
If you'd also like to follow our posts on both Instagram and
No,
Twitter,
we did the
you can find
top
it.
of the show.
Well,
Goodbye,
you also just
and
mentioned Loot
thank
Crate shit
you.
2 minutes ago.
Cue that badass
Intro
outro music.